Hedera, an open source public network governed by leading organizations around the world such as Google, IBM, Dell. Not set up inside the crypto blockchain, but a far superior network called Hashgraph. But what is some of its top projects? SaucerSwap, Suite, Headstarter, Galaxy, DaVinci Graph, Centex, Citadel Wallet, TuneFM, LCX, Sauce Inu, Dovu, Gilmore Estates, and more. Welcome to the 100x Hedera series. What is up, everyone? This is Safe Investor AG, Expert Simp. Today we're going to interview Gilmore Estates, and we're going to find out in detail and more in depth about the CEO of this amazing real estate project. And we have Gilmore with us right now. How you doing, brother?
Good. How about yourself, AJ?
Good. So just full disclosure, I do have a big bag of Gilmore of G Coin, which is the native token of this project, and also we're going to be discussing some of the questions that some of the followers have asked. I think in my YouTube comments, but yeah. So how you doing, bro? So I know you are doxed. Okay, he's just really busy right now, guys. So he's fully doxed, and he's also, he has a company outside of the crypto realm. So I don't know if can you take a quick 2 to 4 minutes and tell us about yourself, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Chris Gilmore, CEO of Gilmore Estates. I started with the interest in real estate back when I was in grade school, right around 12 years old. I started with the passion of architecture, drawing houses, developing houses on the computer. I got my first job for a local architect that did additions on homes when I was 14. I worked there about 2 years drafting, and then I moved on to going to New York Institute of Technology for architectural engineering. I did that for 4 years, and when I got out, I ran into a big problem with the local architects wanting experience over just a degree in architectural engineering. So that's when I went into more of the real estate investing side of it, and that's when I grew my passion for owning homes and renting them out and working with the tenants and providing them with everything that they need to call their house a home, and grow a relationship with the tenant side of it to promote more people wanting to rent from Gilmore Estates.
Ah, I see. So you've been at this for decades.
Yeah, so the whole Gilmore side of my family has been investing in real estate as far as we can track. And my grandmother, she really got me into the real estate investing side of it. She's like a big wig for a Coldwell Banker, and she's worked with them since she was in her 20s. She started selling commercial skyscrapers in Manhattan, and she did that a while. And she started her own branch off of Coldwell Banker and started selling single-family homes and investing in the single-family homes herself. So she taught me basically everything I know, and then what I learned from her, I've expanded on and done more research and signed up for classes, certification classes, and just took the bull by the horns and really took a passion to it and wanted to form my life around it.
Wow, that's really cool. So although you've been involved all your life, this has been basically a family business or a family tradition that's been passed down.
Yeah, so I mean, when you look into what an actual estate is, like the way that an estate works is you never necessarily want to sell your assets. You just want to pile your assets up in your estate. And as long as your business is structured properly, which we teach in all of our classes, as long as your business is owned by a trust fund. So when I die, so the only thing that happens is the oldest kid of mine gets promoted to CEO and president of Gilmore Estates, and the assets are owned by the trust fund. The trust fund owns all the companies, and that's a living entity. So when I die and my kid takes over the role of president or CEO, they don't have to pay any of the capital gains tax on all those assets. The living entity never died. So they just take over the ownership of the trust, and they don't have any capital gains tax on it. And if you think about an estate and the capital gains tax that would go along with that, let's say for easy math, I have $10 million worth of assets under my estate. If I leave those assets to my children, not under a trust fund, now I have $3 million worth of taxes and capital gains tax that they would have to pay on my assets. They would never be able to afford that, and they would never be able to take ownership of those assets.
Oh, that's smart. Okay. I didn't know much of the intricacies and details about this. That's really good to know.
Yes. So basically, you want to form the estate and basically control your entire family's assets for generations to come.
I see. Wow. Now, I guess the question comes down to what did your family think, or what was your family's reaction when you decided to tokenize one of your properties?
So my grandmother, she was all for it. Right when I started talking to her about it, roughly around 4 years ago, she took the bull by the horns and she started doing a deep dive on crypto and blockchain and tokenization of assets. And, she set me up with the proper lawyers for the real estate side of it and the crypto side of it. And she thought it was an amazing idea to spread this knowledge around, because this knowledge for years and generations, it has been kind of token gated to the people that are already in the know. And they don't like spreading that knowledge around about, how easy it is to invest in real estate, and how, the banks, they make it seem like it's a little bit more difficult. They scare people away with high interest rates, and, because they don't really want people to secure their financial freedom through real estate assets. They want all those assets. They want to control the human population. They want to control all the assets. And, the house you live in is the most important asset you can hold on to.
Man, that's understandable. I mean, dang. So it is true. Banks really
Now,
want to own.
the rest of my family, they were kind of skeptical because they didn't know, they had no knowledge of the tokenization world, the crypto world. Kind of forced them, like, you guys got to research this. Like, we've done, me and, Grandma have done the research. We think this, can change the world. And, we want to lead that front and get in front of it, figure out all the regulations and the exemptions that we would qualify for, any of the rules that we would have to follow. And, once we got those rules, we were able to put a game plan together and, like a 10-year roadmap of things we want to do and bring to the blockchain world, Hashgraph, and crypto space in general.
I mean, it is a risk because I'm sure a lot of them, since they don't know about it, they think you're crazy, and they probably thought it was too much of a risk.
So, the risk side of it, the way my grandmother explained it, every big business out there, multi-million-dollar business out there, started off of risk. If the founder never risked it, that business wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Just like Amazon when they first started, he was a bookstore out of his garage, and everybody laughed at him, and he took that risk, and look at where he stands now.
Yeah, good analogy. It's true. So I'm really excited about your project, by the way. I love the concept from the beginning, and my name is Safe Investor, so because of it, I'm forced to do deep dives on it, and I always need to meet or know a lot of the project leader, manager, or the CEO of it. And you've been nothing
Absolutely.
but very talkative, willing, and open and ready to tackle any question or concerns I've always expressed to you. And honestly, that's what gained my confidence. And I haven't regretted a single second. So,
Yeah, I
uh,
appreciate that. And like I tell everybody, I'm always a message away. I'm always willing to answer questions. I don't shy away from the answers. The truth is in the pudding. It's all on the hash graph. It's all out there. And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to spread the knowledge to everybody. And I want everybody to win in the space. And one of the biggest problems with Hedera when I first got onto Hedera was the liquidity side of it. There wasn't that many big time investors that was throwing around a lot of money. And, I thought to myself, how could we fix this problem? And one of my thoughts was, bring liquidity into the market from real estate. Even if we have to follow SEC rules and, the liquidity side of it is going to be smaller because of that, but we could still do our part to bring liquidity to investors on the retail side of Hedera and give them money so that they can reinvest it into Hedera.
that answered just one of my questions. Really appreciate it. I was going to ask you why Hedera and the tokenizing an asset such as real estate. I'm sure came a lot with, and will keep coming along with some backlash, because the more you think about it, it is a hard asset, and it is dispersing of rental income to NFT holders, which, man, the layout, it's amazing. I wanted to ask you, just to see how well you know your market, what other projects similar to yours, either inside Hedera or inside the entire crypto universe?
So we'll take Hedera for example. So there's right now they got Red Swan, and Red Swan is on the higher side of the tokenization of real world assets. The only way to invest in Red Swan's properties or any associated properties with them is to be an accredited investor. You'd have to have a net worth of over $1 million, and there's a bunch of other rules that you have to follow. They're allowed to raise larger funds than, say, me, where I have to keep mine below 35 unaccredited investors, and I'm not allowed to raise more than $60,000 on a single collection.
Okay, I see.
The Red Swan is there. They are for accredited investors. They can raise as much capital as they need to, and as long as you KYC and your net worth matches all the requirements of Red Swan's platform, you can invest in their properties. And other than that, I don't know of anything else on Hedera. Other spots, you got Proppy, and I'm sure there's a bunch more, but I follow Proppy and what they do. And they're basically the kind of a mix between an accredited side and an unaccredited side. So they have limits that they can do on the unaccredited side, and then they have their accredited platform where they sell real estate, tokenized real estate, to accredited investors.
Nice. Okay, that's really good. So I really like that you're very aware of other projects similar to yours, and because it does look like you've done your research as a CEO, and try to keep up with regulation. Now, I know that this will also come across as something too hard to believe in, because, and a lot of my followers even ask me, hey, so is this project for real? Because it's a very well thought out project, tokenized real estate assets. And so I told them, as far as I know, yeah. I mean, and I'm talking to you right now. You give me your full name. You have a company set up. You've done your research. you've been around for a while now. You're not going anywhere. So, which is what investors like to see. So, in Hedera, you're basically at a retail level type of a project, correct? Because
That's correct.
the other one that you mentioned, Red, what was his name? Red what?
Red Swan.
Red Swan, you need to be an accredited investor, so you need to have a high value. So
Absolutely.
this is all good news. This is amazing news. Now,
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we got plans for 10 plus years. We want to make our platform. It's going to be a real estate platform. It's going to be everything that can help benefit your real estate world through our Learn to Earn program, through our metaverse educational classes, through our tokenization of assets marketplace. There's going to be so much more down the line. We want to make our platform enjoyable to be on, not just for financial information, but something that you actually wake up in the morning and you want to go on every day and participate in, whether it's on the community side or the real estate side, or we're even going to be coming out with games on our platform, kind of like The Sims, Monopoly, that type of stuff, games that surround real estate world. And that's going to be done by a very well-known Web3 developer. He develops games on multiple different blockchains.
this is really cool.
And we're just going to keep on adding value to our platform and make it a place that people want to come to.
This is amazing news. So this is part one of the interview, guys. Stay tuned for part two, where I'm going to ask a little more in detail what his future plans are for this project. All right, guys, stay tuned for part two. Part two of the Gilmore Estates interview. So we've just a quick review of what we've discussed. So he's been involved pretty much all his life on real estate, and it's a family tradition, basically, a family business that's been passed down. And now he's tokenizing a property, tapping the waters of the crypto world, which is great. Even though he deemed that there wasn't enough liquidity in Hedera, he decided to start in Hedera to bring liquidity. So I want to ask you, what's the future? So what are your plans, if you can discuss it, if you can disclose it? What are your plans now? Do you plan to add a second property? Do you plan to? I know. Remember, you mentioned you plan on opening an educational site in your platform to teach people. So, can you share with us a little more of what's ahead? What's
Absolutely. So before I start that, I have to explain to you these asset NFTs, what their main utility is. Yes, we do airdrop HBAR, depending on what NFT you own, depends on your percentage of the revenue from the house. But that's just the smallest of utility that this NFT is going to bring. This NFT is it's an educational tool to teach students how to leverage assets for loans. Just how, your actual house, it's an actual leveraging tool for loans. And that's how you create
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Part two. Sorry about the interruption. Something had some technical difficulties. So we left off, I believe, at the part where you were about to explain, before you went over what plans you have for this project. You deemed important to explain the purpose of the NFTs, because they will have a purpose along the ride.
Yes. So the utility that the asset NFTs have right now is you give monthly revenue from the asset, rental revenue from the asset. Depending on what NFT you have, depends on your percentage of revenue. And that's just the base utility that's out right now. But these NFTs are actually educational tools. Just like your house, when it's an investment property, it's a leveraging tool in order to grow generational wealth through your assets. What a normal house, when you buy the house, you renovate it, you get a tenant in the door. Now, when you go to the bank to do a cash out refinance, they'll give you 70% of the equity that's in the house. Now you take that 70% equity and you go and you invest it into another investment property. You follow the 1031 exchange, you do all the proper tax paperwork, and you avoid the capital gains tax on that because you're reinvesting that money into a larger asset. You take that money, you put a down payment on your next asset, you do it all over again. And that's how you build generational wealth through rental real estate. So what our NFT is going to be is it's going to be an educational tool to actually teach you how to do this, but on a smaller scale.
Oh, I see.
So that briefly describes the future utility of the asset NFTs. And to answer your next question, are we planning on tokenizing another asset? Absolutely. We are looking to tokenize another asset, but under the SEC, they have strict guidelines, and they also have guidelines that are kind of fuzzy. And we don't want to step over any line that's not clearly labeled yet. So the reason why we haven't released another tokenized asset is because we're waiting for our educational platform to be released so that main utility gets unlocked for these NFTs.
Gotcha. It's funny you mentioned that the NFTs give you airdrops of G coins, and it's actually not really that big of a utility, even though that's the main reason why people are getting those NFTs, because that seems very attractive, that utility. But now finding out that there's more utility beyond that, is gonna make it even more attractive. That's really cool. That there'll be more utility behind the scenes that will be added on top of it. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a busy man, and I'm glad to hear that there will be another property that will get tokenized. So leads me to my next question: will you sell NFTs for that property, or will the current NFTs be given airdrops for that property?
So right now we haven't decided that. We're thinking about bringing discounts to NFT holders, to reward coin holders, and that type of stuff. But as for would have to talk to my lawyers, my crypto lawyers, about free NFTs. I don't know what the SEC rules and guidelines on that type of stuff is, because it is tied to a real world asset. So I can't give you a definite answer on that just yet.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. I appreciate the transparency and the honesty. And as hard as the answer might be, I'm glad you're giving it to me straight, man. Now,
Absolutely.
I want to address, we had a certain fudster, and we had to touch on this because there will always be fudsters. Everyone, if you haven't been around in the crypto industry, every time there's a great project, a great opportunity, there will always be fudsters, roadblocks, hurdles, however you want to call them. I see them as indicators. That's what I see them. If there's no fudsters about a project, if there's no fudsters about a good influencer or a good person that tries his best, then they're not doing that great of a job, in my opinion. Now, Satori kept pointing out how your project does not have a future because of real world assets getting tokenized, and it's funny how he's bringing up a topic in an unregulated sector where there's no regulations, and there are also world war assets that's getting tokenized, not just property, real estate property, but I mean, we're talking about music, we're talking about art, we're talking about, you know, so it's funny how he brings that up. And I like that you keep expressing, I need to talk to my lawyers, or you keep bringing the SEC regulations. That's what I've been wanting to hear. I never told you this. And so it brings a lot of
Yeah,
confidence.
absolutely. And you know, with that Fudster on Twitter, he did, or he or she did delete the post, which good for them. But it more saddens me that that they would say something like that without doing any research. Because even if you research for an hour alone, you can find all the regulations, all the exemptions, all the rules that you have to follow right on their webpage. It's not, you don't have to do hours and hours of investigation, and then take those rules that one would have to follow and compare it to my project. Look at my collection sizes for my asset NFTs. We follow all these rules to a T. I'm not allowed to release a collection until it's approved by both sets of my lawyers, my whole team, and I also run it by my Web3 side of my team. We have 10 employees on the Web3 side alone. And I'm always asking for recommendations. What do you guys want to see? What can we do better? And if I can do better, I'm going to. If the SEC's rules allow me to do better in the areas that my community is looking for, I will. And if they're looking for something that violates any of these rules, it's a strong no. It just won't happen.
Wow. That's really good to know that you have a team set up for basically everything, and that you're always checking in and verifying and confirming, because that's not just a good, it's almost like that's a normal habit for being a good business owner. So I really appreciate you, man, letting me, giving me a good 30-40 minutes to interview you, more of a get to know you and see what you have in store for this great project. I am a holder again, everyone. None of this is financial advice. And I'm a huge believer of this project because when I talk to him, he sounds very experienced and like he's on what he's doing. He's fully doxed, and he's also has the papers for his company. And yeah, right now I see it as unregulated, but once it gets more regulation and once it gets more normalized, once I see this just exploding. I think it's just going to explode.
You want to know what I think the future of tokenized assets is?
Yeah, I do.
I think the future of tokenized assets is going to be the only way in the future that you're going to be able to secure real estate assets. It's just a matter of time before the SEC and the America side of it takes it over, regulates it, and takes full advantage of it.
Well, what makes you say that? What makes you say that it'll be the only way?
Within the next 10 to 20 years, I think that's going to be the only way that you're going to be able to buy a house is fractionally. So if you go to move into your forever home you're looking to buy, the landlord or the owner, whether it's a big company or just a person, they're going to want to sell it to you in tokenized form through fractional ownership. People aren't going to be able to get loans one day. It just is what it is. The interest rates are going to be out of control. They just go up, up, up. They come down a little bit, and they just keep going up. And once Big Corp gets their hands on it, unfortunately, one day in the future, I feel like the only way that you're going to be able to buy real estate is through fractional ownership.
Wow. That's a bold prediction, bro.
Absolutely, but I've seen some bold things happen in the world, and especially when the federal government of America gets their hands on something, they take it too far sometimes. And just like what they allow BlackRock to do, and Vanguard and Zillow, and all these big corporations that are buying single family homes and choking the price and the interest rates out of control. It's not the people doing that. It's the big investment companies. They control the market. Just when you look at comps and start to understand comps, okay, if I buy, let's say on this road there's 50 homes, and I buy 40 of those homes, okay, and I don't have to do any work to any of those houses, okay. Let's say they're all valued at $200,000. All I have to do is sell one of my houses for $400,000, and now I've just doubled the value of every single house that I own on that road because of comps.
Oh, I see.
And that's what these big companies do. They'll buy 75% of this road and they'll sell one house. And now they just increase their net worth by double. Now they can go to the bank and they can pull out all that equity by just selling one house. Now let's say they have 20 houses where they just raise the equity $100,000. Now you're looking at, you could pull almost $2 million out just from selling one house.
This is crazy, bro. Dang.
Nope. And it's, the sad thing is that this type of information isn't out there for the masses. We're trying to get it out there, through educational classes, books, any way, talking about it like this, any way we can. Because, if these big corporations, if they get a hold of enough property, they control everybody.
This is a golden nugget. So I have seen the attempts of monopolizing the real estate sector for the past, more apparent, more obvious for the past 5 years. I've been keeping up with it because, safe investor, I like investing in different sectors, and it's good. I like picking the brains of other investors and crypto investors, and they all agree in the same thing. They all like to have and invest in different sectors. So, real estate, I had to research a lot, and I remember finding a company named Picasso, who was doing the same thing. I'm not sure if you heard of them. They wanted to sell fractional shares of homes, residential homes, and also and sell them to different buyers in fractional shares, but they over leveraged themselves. They had to sell, undersell some of them or whatever. But I saw that wave in early 2023, 2022. So it's happening. They're doing, like you say, it's coming in waves. Like they overdo it and they have to underdo it. And they overdo it, like you mentioned, and it fits perfectly with what you're explaining with the interest rates as well. That's crazy. Okay.
Yep.
Any last thing you want to share with everyone before we finish off this interview?
Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody has any questions, big or small, DM me on Twitter, even make a post to us on Twitter, come into our Discord, talk, communicate, ask your questions, grow with us, educate yourself. We're all about it, and we're here to help everybody grow. And we hope that you guys can help us grow.
Thank you very much, Chris Wright. And
Yes.
he's available. Come to his Discord, everyone. Visit his website. You can check him out even on Twitter and ask him anything you'd like. This guy is the real estate guru, in my opinion. He knows exactly what he's doing. And again, this is Safe Investor AG, H% Social Warrior. Please do your due diligence, do your research, and again, I hold a big bag of this. And this is the end of the interview, episode 6. And that's it. Stay saucy, everyone. Words about the interview we just had with Gilmore Estates. Thank you guys for watching. And I did invite him. I want to interview him again once his project reaches 5 million market cap or more, or once he gets default listed on SaucerSwap. He's working very hard for expansion, towards expansion and progress. He has a lot in store, a lot. As you can see, a lot of gems that he dropped, knowledge, wisdom, for real estate investors or people that want to get started. So he'll have an educational platform side to his crypto project. And as you heard, the very well analysis that he gives, he will share that with all the token and NFT holders that will partake of his learned to earn part of the project. So I'm just really sad, Fuzzers have been coming after him, and I had to point out Satori, because how could you make a fudding article and delete it? All right, I had to point that out. He didn't even attempt to reach out to him or do a deep dive. Does that make sense? So bring your argument. I'll even listen to both sides of the coin. But if you haven't done your research and reached out to the project owner or leader, and you're just fudding it just cause you have no base, I'm sorry. You just look, to me, you're just a hater. But I'm gonna interview him again because I'm super excited for this project. Again, this is Section Desper AG, Express himself the Warrior. Come and like and subscribe to my channel right here. I'll be dropping more gems, dropping more interviews, and you'll have a great day. And most of all, stay saucy.